Man, I'm excited on this Saturday. Anyways, just got a big day at work ahead, and I'm gonna dominate the situation, as Al Davis once said of the Oakland Raiders. At one time, the winningest football team in professional sports. But anyways, I want to talk a little bit about Bible prophecy in the Book of Revelation. Anybody that has any sense in their brain knows that this world, the modern world, is falling apart quickly, especially the West and America in particular, because that's where I live. That's my concern. And the biggest instigators of this decline of Western civilization is the Christian church. And the book of Revelation is being used as a deception to get people to think that we're quote unquote in the last days, right? Now, the problem is most people buy into this. Most people believe in some type of apocalyptic scenario, that the world's just going to come to this crashing end, this conclusion. Even non-Christians believe in some type of, whether it's global warming and that stupid little girl Greta Thunberg that's talking about, this autistic, Spurg. I'm sorry, but anybody who listens to that, you got a brain function problem if you listen to that 12-year-old, or she's now like at 18, whatever it is. But the bottom line is, this apocalyptic type of doctrine that the Christian church is pushing, and what it's being used as a tool to bring about the New World Order. Again, there's a three-headed dragon out there. It's Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. And all three are working towards a Abrahamic New World Order. And it's being used as a deception to get people, especially Christians, to sit on their hands and not do a thing about what's going on today in our modern world. Now, I know a little something about the history of this country. Okay, this was founded as a Christian nation and not a Judeo-Christian nation, because there's no such thing as Judeo-Christianity. All right, Christianity did not come from Judaism. All right, it's just what people regurgitate because they listen to these fat, obese pastors in the pulpits of America. Kingdom Christianity is a whole different thing, and it's what's been lost, right? It's what's been lost. So the book of Revelation, what people don't know is that most of it has already been fulfilled, okay? These movies like Left Behind and all these apocalyptic movies, it ain't gonna happen, guys. This earth, as we know it, is gonna last forever. I don't care what these global warming idiots say. This earth is gonna last forever. Right? These global warming idiots said, by 2020, the Earth's gonna, burn up and all this stuff, and it didn't happen, right? So, you got the global warming idiots, and you got these Christian Zionist idiots, and both are using apocalypse scenario to deceive people, to get people into being passive, not doing nothing about what's going on. The serious issues are on the ground. You don't got to worry about Jesus coming from the sky. You don't got to worry about, Satan, this red guy with a pitchfork. What you got to worry about is the enemy boots on the ground, right? And what is happening to our society is a decadence. Weimar Republic, decline in civilization, decline in morals, chivalry, right? And there's many things that are being used to bring about this decadence decline. What we're going through is what the Roman Empire was going through. And amazingly, it was the Roman Empire that fell under the jurisdiction of Christianity, right? Because Christianity, when interpreted through a slave morality, brings about decline in civilization, because Christianity, through slave lenses, hates what's beautiful, hates what's wholesome. What is wholesome? It is the family unit. That's what's wholesome. It's the family, right? The mom, the dad, and the children. And what has been the adversaries of Christ and his kingdom since probably the mid-1800s, but it really took off after World War II, was the destruction and the decline of the family. The family unit is the backbone of any healthy civilization. And Marxism, Bolshevism, of which you have BLM, Antifa, the Sunrise Movement. They're all Bolshevik Marxist movements. They hate the order of the family. They hate that the man is the head. They hate that the woman is to be a helpmeet for her husband and to raise the children. So what they've done is they've integrated themselves through every avenue. Public schools, that's why you have evolution. You have butt sex being taught to your kids. Transgenderism. You have Hollywood and all the smut in Hollywood, that Christ hatred in Hollywood. And it's Hollywood, the so-called chosen people, right? And that's what your pastor says. He says you got to support Israel. You got to support them. Send your children to die for their wars, because that war in Afghanistan, the 2 wars in Iraq, they were all for Israel. So the modern American Christian is a slave to Israel. And so what they do is they tell you that there's this left behind scenario, a rapture, a future millennium in earthly Jerusalem. So therefore you have to, Jerusalem is the centerpiece of world geopolitics today. So we got to support the modern day Israel because they're the chosen people. That's garbage. There ain't no chosen people, guys. Okay? And in this article in the Israel Times, they straight out said that it's Christian Zionists who have went into other countries to give their version of Christianity, and they've changed that particular country's stance on Israel. So Christians are being used as subversive parasites to bring about the Zionist world order that's already in place, but it just needs its crowning achievement of basically bringing about benevolent world leader. That's where you have Agenda 2030. Okay? That's why I will not attend a church, because the pastors are sellouts. They're pro-Israel. Israel is the great Satan. You want to talk, see, the devil is not a red guy with a pitchfork. The devil is their people. The word devil means adversary. And it's, Christians have been duped into believing an imaginary red guy in a pitchfork is the problem. No, it's people. Some imaginary red guy in a pitchfork. So the book of Revelation has been fulfilled in the 1st century. When you look at Bible prophecy, when you look at the time statements that Jesus gives for a second coming, that Jesus gives for the last days, it's always within the generation of the people that he's talking to, right? So the book of Revelation was about AD 70 and the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple. That's what the book of Revelation was about. It has nothing to do with people today, right? All the time statements in the book of Revelation, the time is at hand, the time is years ago. So what the Christian Zionists, the Judeo-Christians are doing is they're using the book of Revelation as a subversive tool to get you to do nothing about what's going on in society, to not fight, to be this pacifist cuck, because you're waiting for Jesus to come back in a rapture. You talk about the height of delusion, right? Jesus hasn't come back for 2,000 years. Why? Because he already came back in AD 70 with the destruction of the temple of Jerusalem. So the book of Revelation is a 1st century book for 1st century Christians, fulfilled in the 1st century. But many people today have got that book, ripped it from its historical context, and they're using it to bring about the Zionist world order because, oh, we got to support Israel, right? Because that's where Jesus is going to reign for 1,000 years. Nonsense. Even the Bible says that Jesus will never be a priest or a king on the earth. Why? Because he's not of the line of Levi. He's a Judahite, and he's of the line of Jeconiah. There was a curse on Jeconiah and his descendants that none of them would sit on the throne of David in Judah. And that's what Jesus is, of the line of Jeconiah. So his throne is in New Jerusalem, and he fulfilled the covenant, he ascended into heaven. So modern day Christians, these messianic groups, the Hebrew roots groups that all claim we're keeping Torah, let's keep the Sabbath. Dude, you're falling into the Jewish deception of the Zionist world order. See, back in the 1800s, there was a movement called the Darbyites, and they were promoting this rapture thing. See, Christians never believed in this rapture thing. The rapture is a fool's paradise, right? It's an escapist ideology to get you to escape from the real problems on the ground, right? By real people who are your real enemies, not some devil in a pitch with a pitchfork. And that movement led to the C.I. Scofield Reference Study Bible. So the Zionists, their view was to infiltrate Christianity, to make Christianity kosher, and to make the Christians look to the Jews as the chosen people. Jewish supremacy, right? And that's why all your world leaders, Vladimir Putin, Zelensky, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, the Bushes, what is the commonality with all of them? They go to Jerusalem, they go to the Wailing Wall and give homage to Israel. They give homage to the God of Israel. Who is the God of Israel? It's Satan, the fallen angel. See, there is a fallen angel called Lucifer. And Jesus called them the synagogue of Satan. Revelation 2:9-9, they were children of their father the devil, John 8:44. And today's modern day Jews are not the biblical Israelites. They are Edomites. They are from Edom. Okay? If your pastor is sitting there telling you that the modern day Jews are the chosen people and that today's Israel is a fulfillment of Bible prophecy, he is a liar. Okay? And today's pastors, all they care about is how much money you tithe to their churches to keep the con game going. Because Bible prophecy is a con game, guys. The book of Revelation is being used as a con to get you to support the establishment of modern day Israel as the centerpiece of the new world order, the worldwide communist utopia that they want to usher in for 1,000 years, that Bush called the 1,000 points of light, the age of Aquarius, and the so-called millennial reign. You don't believe me? If you go to the United Nations, there is something called the Isaiah Wall, and they have a statue of a gun with the barrel twisted at the end, and they quote Isaiah talking about they will turn their swords into plowshares. But what the United Nations is trying to do is bring about world peace. And what is the main thing that the United Nations is doing? They are propagating the communist Bolshevik ideology of destruction of the family, destruction and demonizing of everything that's pure, holy, and wholesome. And they're pushing degeneracy, LGBTQ, transgenderism. If anybody thinks that's remotely normal, you got a problem. You don't belong on my channel, straight up. There's nothing remotely normal about it. Okay? Anybody that has common sense. See, I was born in 74. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and nobody thought that was normal. And now all of a sudden, people think that's normal. It's just straight up. Why do we know it's not normal? Because that lifestyle leads to death. That lifestyle leads to literal death. It doesn't produce life. See, what produces life is healthy. And a man and a woman being with each other produces life. And this is why I'm against any ideology that is anti-family. Any ideology anti-family, I want no part of. So what have the so-called chosen people used to deceive people? Hollywood. Degenerate cult entertainment. Anti-family. Started with Married with Children. Right? Then they got hip-hop and brought about gangster rap. Massage, the hatred of women. Because you have this braggadocious attitude from people. Oh yeah, I got baby mamas. And I got, I sleep down and woman and this. Bro, like, that's exactly what they want to do. They want to produce a generation of babies that don't have fathers in the home, don't have the unit of a man and a woman. Right? The family will always be the backbone of any healthy civilization. And what we have now is consumerism, right? All people do is go consume. Now this country's trillions of dollars in debt. But that's all linked up together. Christianity, capitalism, consumerism, degeneracy is all connected. See, Christianity has been used as a Trojan horse to bring about what we have today, globo homo. The homogenization, removal of distinction between gender, race, ethnicity, religion. They want everybody to be the same. They want to create a global blob, right? This is why I truly believe you should be in touch with your culture, ethnicity, There's nothing wrong with that. And they want you to deny yourself. They want you to claim that you came from apes, right? This is why I'm proud of my culture. I'm proud of where my family's from, the Basque Country, Spain, Ireland, right? Because you got to know who you are, because it refutes this communist, Bolshevik ideology of evolution, that we came from apes. And it refutes the idea that we are not who our ancestors were. We are who our ancestors were. And so what this global homo movement has wanted to do, remove all those distinctions, have you bring down your defenses, and now people use Christianity. They catch a few things that Jesus says. They don't even understand them. I know the Bible. I'll put my Bible knowledge against anybody's. And they get the most woke things that Jesus said, they think is woke, and they use it, right? It's being used to justify all this degeneracy we're seeing in society. Jesus wasn't woke. Okay? And I shock liberals with things that Jesus said, and it makes them pause. Jesus was not woke. He was not woke. But they'll say, oh, don't judge. I say anybody that doesn't judge, you're a fool. We judge every day. You should judge. Right? People say, oh, well, turn the other cheek. Well, that doesn't mean just let someone come and beat the crap out of you. Right? But all these things are being used to turn Christians into slaves. They don't do nothing. They're waiting for the rapture, right? So they sit back and do nothing. Well, you know what? There is a youth movement arising today. The youth today don't give a damn about peace. They don't give a damn about turning the other cheek. There's a youth movement today that know that what they're seeing being pushed by the liberal leftards, the Democrats, they know it's toxic. They know it's poison, right? And they're fighting against it. There are pockets of people rising up and fighting against global homo. They're fighting against it. That's why I lost my job. I got doxxed. People reported me to my work, and I got terminated. You know this movement of this leftist Democrat BS is poison. Now, I'm not a Republican, and I'm not a conservative. Because why? Because they're just pussies. They don't do nothing. They give ground all the time, and all they do is virtue signal. I'm talking about there are people rising up that know that their boomer grandparents and parents left them the most greedy, degenerate society known to man, where we're uplifting the most perverted of lifestyles and celebrating it. Be on the wrong side of history. Stand with what's righteous, holy, and true, and don't buy into this Christian nonsense of the book of Revelation's unfolding right now. No, because most of it was already fulfilled by AD 70. Read all the time statements about the last days. It's all in the first century, guys. And the Christians are being used to subvert people to support the great Satan, which is Israel. Salute.